Look at her. She loves it. Watch out. See, this is just going to be the intro. We're going to do an episode of the Inbox, totally unrehearsed. We're going to grab a bunch of questions here from the community. If you just want to find this, you just go to the first category thing here, and you go down to community. And then over here, you will just go down and hit Inbox, and that's where you can post. And that's where we're going to be grabbing these questions from. I guess I'll just start at the top. I feel like starting at the top is backwards because now we're going in reverse chronological. In chronological order, but whatever. What kind of car did I get after giving away the BMW? I got a BMW that was all-wheel drive to deal with the snow. It's like a 2005. It was about, yeah, just that's all. Tricycle, Hummer, moped. What did I get? So yeah, I just got another BMW to replace the BMW. Yep. All right. This one is from someone. Frank Q1, as the title says, will you, as in any of you, ever come to Ireland? You want to go to Ireland, Wendell, for any reason? Is there anything that goes on in Ireland that we would need to go over there for? I mean, I want to go over there and check out some of the pubs and some of the landscape and all that sort of thing. I've got to admit, I am more as far as that area of the world goes, I'm more interested in Scotland because I am mostly Scottish. I'd be interested to go over there and check out some of the stuff that goes on around there. I know Scottish is basically in Scotland is full of a bunch of tribesmen who left Ireland, so it's kind of tied together. But I don't think my family is really tied to the Irish bloodlines. They came there from France. So I think we're just French and Scottish and not really Irish. Or maybe, I guess there's some Irish in there somewhere. Yeah, or something. I think so.
Noble.
Yeah, I think one of my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers was hung for treason in court in the UK, or I guess in England. He was a spy.
Oops.
Yeah.
My family tree is not very complicated, what with my great-grandfather being Sasquatch and all.
I'm pretty sure about this, and I'll have to go find the books, but Mary Queen of Scots was in my, in a few generations back, just, she's like my grandmother, actually. just my, that's how, someone's going to look it up and be like, you're so wrong. But no, she's actually there. Mary Queen of Scots is blood related. Mm-hmm. Yep. So just don't chop my head off and everything will be fine. All right, next question here on the list. Do you want to go to Ireland? I didn't even let you answer that.
Oh, I'm sure that it would not be a problem finding something to fill the hours with there. I think that the old architecture, and like there's so much history there. It would be difficult to get used to because in America it's like, oh, this building's 100 years old. That's really old. Then you go to Europe and it's like, oh, this building's 100 years old, and it's like, it's brand new. It's only 100 years old. That was built yesterday.
I don't know. I really want to go to. It's all the Irish people are going to get mad at me for talking about Scotland so much, but I'm really, really want to go to Edinburgh and Bruges. Well, man, if you want an old architecture, but I'm sure Dublin is nice and all that as well. I just want to go to Dublin and check out the pubs and stuff. Anyway, how do you make your pancakes? My password is 666. How about it? Can't stop eating pancakes. It started when I was drunk one time and thought, I think I'll make myself some pancakes. And now that it's snowballed out to hell and I can't stop eating pancakes. How do you guys at Tech Syndicate make your pancakes? What do you put on top of them? Pancakes. I'm working now on a new pancake-based diet. I call it bulimia. Nice. I'm very sorry for the previous joke. Bulimia is no laughing matter. I just read that in the video, and I hope you fall to your pain, not to your death, because I don't want to, the next thing you know, you're going to fall off a building, and I'm going to feel like, guilty for it, even though I don't believe in that superstitious nonsense. Where were we? Pancakes. Wendell, how do you make your pancakes?
Buttermilk pancakes, and usually with blueberries or bananas.
I like the heartier flours, made corn. Well, I call them Johnny cakes or Jack cakes or whatever the hell you call them. But they're just basically corn flour, water, and a little baking powder. You just put that together and mix it up. Throw a little salt in there. and make it so that it sloshes around the bowl. Pour that into your pan. I actually make those, and I like them savory, so I put eggs and stuff on top. When we went to the waffle window in Portland, I got one of the really nice big waffle with eggs and spinach and mushrooms and hot sauce and all that kind of stuff on it. So I like it a little bit more on the savory side. If I'm going to do a sweeter pancake, sometimes I like corn pancakes with maple syrup, because that's, in my opinion, the topping for pancakes. Real, out of a tree, Vermont, not Canadian, not freaking Canadian, Vermont maple syrup. That's what goes on pancakes if you're going to do them sweet. And then I like buckwheat with, usually a buckwheat flour combination for other pancakes. The other option you can do is try this. I don't really like it too much, but some people do. You mash up a bit of a banana and mix that with an egg. And there's no flour. You just throw that in a pan, and that's like for people who are like, yeah, we're bodybuilders, but we still want to eat pancakes. No, you guys don't get pancakes. You don't get them. No. But you guys can pretend you can have pancakes with bananas and I love it. They like, oh, it tastes just like pancakes. No, it does not. But if you want to fool yourself, it does have an interesting taste, but it's not a freaking pancake. So all you muscleheads who run around eating strange things, pretending they're the real thing, they're not. So stop it. You can't have them because you've chosen this way of life. All right. What about
goes better with maple syrup than pancakes? French toast.
Yes. I just take it straight, man. Super Trooper style. That's how we do it around here. Where have the days of threatening the audience gone? I enjoyed the threatening of random people on the interwebs to subscribe. Listen, IKU, I'll tell you what's going to happen to you. I'm going to come to your house for even mentioning this, and I'm going to take all of the coffee out of whatever thing that has all your coffee, and I'm going to replace that with bits of burnt wood and cat fur. But the cat fur is also going to look just like coffee grounds. And the next time you make coffee, I will be waiting under the sink. I'm going to install a little, like a, what do you call it, a periscope? Or is that what they call them? The things that are, when you're under the sink and when you're in a submarine, is that a periscope? Is that what that is?
I believe that is a periscope.
And I'm going to hook it up to your faucet. So while you're drinking your coffee, if you see your faucet start moving around to look at you, that's me under your sink. And then you're probably going to hear me laugh when you choke on cat fur. So don't ever bring up insults again.
Look, I'll tell you the real reason, and that is the threats were far too effective, and now we've got some subscribers that we really just don't like.
Yeah, that's probably right. we have to have another threat. Like it can't be. I guess it can't be an ultimatum to get subscribers. We have to have another ultimate tomato for another reason. Tomatoes are good.
Ultimate tomato. What? An ultimate tomato this is an infusion of a tomato and Vermont maple syrup. Yes.
Oh man!
Gonna bring new meaning to fried tomatoes.
I'm gonna give you guys an ultimate tomato. Can you handle it? All right then. Your first Linux experience, Wendell. This question is from someone on the internet. It's from I don't even know what kind of name that is. There's too many vowels in your name, sir. I don't. Croquagei. Quig. There's probably another language that I'm going to botch it, and really bad. When there's lots of vowels, people from Eastern Kentucky cannot be expected to reproduce the correct phonetic pronunciation when there's too many vowels. See, I said pronunciation. All right, go ahead, Wendell. First Linux experience.
Probably. Honestly, it's probably building a machine to do what was called at the time IP masquerading. It was before network address translation had even really been standardized. An ancient version of Linux to do IP masquerading between public internet addresses and a private IP network. It also did translation between Token Ring and Ethernet. The Token Ring network actually had the internet connection. The Ethernet network was not otherwise on the internet, and so it was like, oh, let's build a Linux machine with a Token Ring card and a Ethernet card and make it translate between the two, because there was no other way to deal with that situation at the time. There was no.
Wasn't this during the beta stage of Linux?
It was. I believe it was Linux kernel 1.3.
Oh, okay.
I think it was 1.3. And so that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of banging heads against the walls and probably some posts on Usenet and just a lot of general insanity. But we got it working, and it worked great for years and years and years. And And in fact, they tried to replace it a couple of times and failed miserably. One time they tried to replace it like 5 years later with Microsoft Proxy Server. That cratered spectacularly. That was so satisfying. Just thinking about it now makes me satisfied. Oh, that's a story for another time.
Yeah, we should probably go into that one of these days. Have we already told that story in a past video about all that stuff?
We've told some of that a little bit, and so it's not really anything new. The next time that I had a lot of experience with Linux, I wrote a kernel device driver for a touch screen, and so I got that working, and that was pretty good.
All right, let's see what else we have here. Purchasing reliable hard drives methodology. So. Rathness, he wants to pick up some new hard drives for a RAID 1 setup. Uh-oh, we're going to do some RAID videos soon. And you may be able to talk him out of it. Who knows? When searching through some customer reviews online, it's hard to judge with clarity, in particular, if a particular drive is reliable, as a majority of satisfied customers don't post long-term updates. That's a really interesting observation there. Is there a better way to screen for hard drive reliability? Say that?
Backblaze. There's a company that does online data storage, and they publish all of their data warehousing company, for lack of a better term. They post stats on all of the drives that they buy for the last several years. They have stats on everything. Right now, HGST is leading the way. The bottom line is RAID is dead. RAID as you know it is dead. It's just not even, it's not a proper technology anymore. SANs have taken over the universe in the enterprise because they do error correction and data scrubbing in a way that RAID arrays do not do. We have a video coming up on this very soon. RAID is dead. You need to be using something like BTRFS or ZFS that does integrity checking at the file system level and has direct and transparent access to the drives. The reason for that is because these drives that have such a ridiculous data density are going to corrupt your data sooner or later, and it's just not caught. Right now, even if you have an LSI RAID controller, like a really high-end LSI hardware RAID controller, battery backup unit in the whole 9 yards, that controller relies on the drive self-reporting that it's generating errors. If the drive is not reporting that it's generating errors, and it's generating errors, your data is corrupt, and there's nothing you can do, and the corruption will not be detected by the controller.
All right, speaking of ZFS and RAID, I think this is a great next question to go to. FreeNAS or Unraid? This is from Felix
FreeNAS.
Bank. Yeah, I was just going to answer with FreeNAS right off the bat. It's the proper RAID technology. I'm not extremely familiar with Unraid, though, but I know ZFS it's got a lot of overhead, but that's for a reason. It's doing a lot that regular RAID does not do. Things that RAID should do, like proper error correction, proper redundancy, and it's also proper security for your files. It's all being handled, and you need about 1 gigabyte of memory per terabyte of storage space that you have on your array. So
at least
go FreeNAS and get a lot of RAM.
And, and from there on up. And honestly, you really, like, if your files are important and you're going to store files for many years, we might do a video on this. It's like your first step in becoming an acolyte of Tech Syndicate is to build a home server that you plan on still having when you're 90 years old. Now, it's going to be completely different hardware, but realistically, you want all of the files that you copy to it to still be here when you're 90 years old, and to survive corruption and survive whatever. And unless your file system unless your file system has something built in to detect and correct file corruption, or you're doing that manually somehow by like taking the MD5 sums and comparing the MD5 sums that have changed in a given day to, what files that you legitimately have changed, or have they changed as a result of bit rot. Why would you do it manually when there are file systems that will do that for you? But I suppose if you're going to do that manually, you could. If you're going to do that and your data is important, then you need to run something that is actually designed to last, 5, 10, 20 years. And you're not going to be running the same hardware in 5, 10, 20 years, but you can be reasonably sure that as you copy it from A to B to C to D to E, that the data is not being changed along the way, because it's really hard to be sure that something, just a few bits haven't changed in terabytes and terabytes of data, and statistically it's going to happen. So you need to deal with it.
All right, next question up here are thoughts on the new MacBook from Space Cat. And he's posted some of his, first impressions of this. Crikey, that's thin. Yeah, it's really thin. So let's bring up the article here on Wired, because of course Apple's not going to send us one of these for testing and review. The resolution is the weirdest thing in my opinion. 2304 by 1400. It's a strange resolution, I guess. But hey, they're Apple. They do whatever they want. They do things their own way. It's 13.1 millimeter and it's 2 pounds. Tiny. My biggest problem is it's got a single USB-C port on the left side. It's just clean and sleek and pretty and elegant, and you're locked into Apple's way of doing things, whether you want to do it your own way or not. You can do some things, opening up the terminal and that sort of thing. But my problem is that, if it was way less expensive, because it's obviously going to be too expensive for I guess the performance that you're going to get and also the specs under the hood. It's just there's not enough options. You don't have enough options as far as your the stuff that you can do. It's like, hey, here you go, here's a Mac. Now you can't do 60% of the stuff that anyone else can do. There you go, enjoy it, and you must do things Apple's way. So it's still a Mac. It's a pretty their stuff is incredible as far as the design and the implementation, and just like they really do take a lot of different ingredients and make great recipes for their own, walled off gardens and their own little products.
Is tiny.
Yeah.
You could have a cell phone that is powered. The battery life would be terrible, but most of the new Mac is just battery. It's all battery. I would sort of echo the same thing. I mean, if Apple's your thing, I think it says something about the company when there are more choices for the color of the damn thing than the technical options for the damn. But I mean, that's just because clearly the color of the machine is more important than the specs that you get it with. Oh my goodness.
All right, someone wants to know what we think of DEF CON. This is from Schrodinger Syndrome. Last year was my first year at DEF CON specifically, but I've gone to my semi-local GurCon. That's pretty interesting. For years, and I love the very open and fun atmosphere with some very interesting presentations. So I'm wondering what your opinion is of DEF CON or any of the other hacker cons. I'd like to go to more of those. I think that they're more interesting to me personally, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this yet, but we kind of do whatever interests us and not what the industry says is the coolest thing happening right now. If I'm bored by something, even if it's the thing that's going to get 1 million hits, I can't even do it. It's just, that's boring. So a lot of the big events like CES are very boring to me, but we go because, I don't know, someone wanted us. I don't know why we went to CES. It was kind of whatever. There was some cool stuff going on there, and we got to see some cool people. But yeah, DEF CON and other hacker events, Linux events, open source events, maker events, just the general, I guess the nerdier events are what I'd like to focus on, So we should try to get in there. We've got new marketing people to help out, so maybe we'll tell them to help us get there and see if we can make it happen. So I don't know, DEF CON.
A lot of interesting panels at DEF CON. It is about information dissemination and sort of things on the forefront of security and architecture and integration. And so they are very interesting topics. They're kind of esoteric. And we would do it because we find it interesting. I don't think that coverage of those events would get a lot of hits, which kind of makes me sad.
I don't know. I think you'd be surprised. I didn't know if coverage of the Linux stuff would get that many hits. And then it turns out that there's kind of a void when it comes to coverage. Maybe that. Maybe also it's just that people are ready for something new, and some of the nerdier audience is getting tired of a lot of the other content on the internet that's not as in-depth or doesn't actually scratch the correct itch. You guys got a lot of itches, do you? But you know what I mean. Maybe it would get more hits, because let's face it, you go to CES, every single YouTuber is there covering the same damn thing, so it's a saturated thing. Maybe if we were at DEF CON, maybe we would get as many, if not more, hits than we would at CES or PAX or whatever. We skip PAX East because, again, it's another event that every single person there doing the same thing, and I get bored of telling the same exact stories that everyone else is telling. And unless we can find our own unique voice, which we usually do with our shenanigans and our off-the-wall presentation style, but unless we can really do something unique or tell a story that I care about, it's like, I don't know, it's hard to get me motivated to do it. So I don't know, maybe the motivation will show through in videos that we do at these other events like DEF CON and PingleCon and that sort of thing, and it will make them better. Maybe people will like them. I don't know. Just me thinking out loud right now. So yeah. All right, next question here is Ingrid's pistol's alignment. Is she resistance or enlightened? She's enlightened. That's all I'm going to say about that. And let's see if we have any more questions here. I'll do one more and then we'll be out of here. Tech Syndicate app. All right, we should probably go back and forth about this for a minute because some people are asking for a Tech Syndicate app. I don't think they've actually gone and hey, look at there's your comment. Just
we have there's a very awesome guy that made some code and it's up on GitHub, but it's for the old site, and so it uses the JSON API on the old site, which still works for the videos and the articles that we post on the old site, but it doesn't work with the forum because the forum's a new forum now. But the forum that we have has a perfectly reasonable, well-documented API. Individual users can generate their own API key, so everything that is necessary to do an app is there. We would ask that if anybody is going to do that, that they use the same GitHub repo. Just email me and we'll set it up. The only thing that we ask is that you assign the copyright to us, and we reserve the right to run ads on the platform, because we would probably set it up to run ads unless you're a tech support member, and then you would not get ads. However, the new forum platform that we're using architecturally is very good. It runs very well on mobile. And the reason for running an app would be to minimize round trips to the server. So like when you do a new page load or whatever on the server, with an app, you would it's just one HTTP request to see what the new stuff is. The mobile app right now is implemented the same way because it's all Ajax. And so we wouldn't really save anything in terms of speed, bandwidth, or any of that. An argument maybe could be made that you would get push notifications and things like that from the app through the communication layer that's built into your device, Android or iOS. Don't know how much people really care about that. It would be
that'd be kind of cool. I mean, our system does have a nice the website does have a nice notification system. I feel like the website might be spitting out too many notifications to use push. Maybe only be for certain things, but who knows?
Yeah, users can configure what they get notifications about. So if they don't want to be notified by threads, only private messages or nothing at all, that's something that you can totally do now. And so it's going through the motions of dealing with Apple and setting it up and doing all that. We would be glad to do, but enough users would have to request it. And especially if some people want to sign up for tech support and say, hey, I'm signing up for tech support so you can have some money to develop something like this, that would be great. And I mean, the whole reason that we went to a new forum, which was a lot of work, is because we had enough tech support people that were like, hey, make this a thing. And it's like, all right, sounds good. You guys are the boss. We'll do it.
I think another thing that's interesting to think about when you talk about making an app is the website I find works perfectly fine in a browser. I use CM browser, but it works fine in Firefox and also Chrome, and I haven't tried any other browsers, but it works perfectly fine on all those browsers. The problem is that's one more hoop to jump through. So if it's easier just to hit a button, I think more people would probably show up, just because you can't expect people to do anything. If it requires more than one or two steps, it's less likely that they're actually going to go there frequently. If they have to open up a browser and then type it in, or go to their favorites tab and click on that, it's like, you have to do 3 steps instead of 1. And I understand, because I'm the same way. A lot of times if I've got an app for something like Amazon, I won't go and type Amazon into my my browser on my phone, because I'm like, damn it, I have to type stuff. I hate that. I'll just click on the app and then go do the thing. So
well,
I don't know.
I'll show you really quick. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can.
Right there, yeah.
I can do this real quick. All right. So check it out. See the icon right there? TechSyndicate.com. My icons are messed up because I'm weird. But if you go to the website, oops. There we go. If you go to the website and you add it to your home screen like you were going to add a bookmark, it's totally you have an icon for it. And look, there's no address bar. There's nothing. It looks and works just like an app.
I mean, for people who don't even know how to do the bookmark thing, can we just make a thing where you click here and you get your bookmark and then you're done? I mean,
yeah.
Because that's all we need. We don't actually need. I don't think we actually need an app unless we wanted the push notification service. I think that all we need is a button that takes you to the website, just like what you have. That's all we need. If that was the official, if that was our official app, yeah, it's a button that takes you to the website. That's great. I mean, what's the back end as far as the browser? Does it use your default browser, or what does it use?
Yeah. It'll on Android it'll use your default browser, and on iOS it'll use and so you just go there and you hit the thing, and you hit add to home screen right there, and it makes an icon. I should not be the one
literally
telling you this, but
well, I mean, that's literally all you need. I don't, you know what's funny? I don't use Android enough to even know that. I don't mess. The only thing I'm doing on my phone right now is playing Pixel Dungeon until I can't sleep. Which I'm angry that you showed me that game.
Yeah.
Because
Pixel Dungeon is amazing.
I finally beat the 15th level boss last night at 5 in the morning because the dog woke me up and I was like, I'm awake. I took the dog out for a piss. Maybe I'll play some Pixel Dungeon. And then like, oh no, it's been 48 minutes. I'm on level 15 now. Let's fight this tank.
I think Pixel Dungeon is just on the other side of a little too brutal. And Shattered Pixel Dungeon is an easier version of Pixel Dungeon that is less brutal, but you're still going to die a lot.
We're going to get a lot of hate mail from people who were like, I had no idea what Pixel Dungeon is now, and then I Googled it, and damn it, I haven't slept in 4 days. My girlfriend broke up with me, and I didn't go to work today because I'm playing this stupid Android game where you click on things. It's turn-based, roguelike, and it's brutal. Shattered Pixel Dungeon is the way to go, though. All right, I think that's good enough for this episode. Yeah, we don't really want any more subscribers, so please don't subscribe to any of these channels. Don't subscribe to this channel. We would hate to have you over on the Linux channel. That'd be awful. In fact, if you come over there, we'll probably talk down to you and judge you for not using the same distro as us. I'm joking around right now. Of course, we want you to go subscribe to the Linux channel. We've got a hardware channel as well, and then I've got a hairdo channel I'm going to be starting very soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The end of the video.
I'll also say that for you guys that don't, we've had a massive amount of Linux content on the site, and that's good. But for those of you that don't want to see that, you can go in and turn that off. You can go in and in your user account be like, I don't want to see any of that, and then you won't see any of that. It won't show up in your feed on the homepage or news stories or notifications or even mentions if you want. So that's totally an option. But
just come right down here to right down here on the website, and you guys can tell it what you want to track, what you want to watch, and what you want to mute. Very easy. And you can even do it from the page if you just go back and you're on a sorry.
No, that's good. It's all good. I would ask you guys, because so many communities are so hostile to noobs, I would ask you, for those of you who don't want to see that, please be a little bit patient with us, and because it'll settle down once we get everybody going. Please be a little bit patient, because the reason they're coming here is because we're not as hostile. So, for the love of God, please, try not to be hostile. Even if somebody's obviously trolling, just try to talk them down diplomatically. But that's why they're here, is because even Linux Help Guy, it's like the most innocuous Linux help channel that there is, and even he was just like, no, I can't deal with this, and it's just the most innocuous thing, and it's so baffling. And
he was just trying to help, isn't it? His name was Linux Help Guy. He was just trying to help, but he couldn't deal with all the people coming to his channel constantly and berating him for his choices for little things like his icon package. Oh, you're using an inferior. You just that's how ridiculous it is. It just everyone shows up to all the Linux users show up to judge his video, and they don't even help the community, which that's what he's trying to do.
Or he says something like, I wonder how you changed that. And, I was like, I fiddled with it for a few minutes and I couldn't figure it out. And it's like, oh, you moron, didn't you know you had to unlock a locked encrypted file at the bottom of, Etsy something else somewhere else. And, there was a sign on the file that said, beware the leopard.
Yes. Duh, what a moron. I'm glad he's gone. Yeah. All right, guys. Enjoy the forums, and we'll see you in the comments on the website. Sandra, come up. Yeah. She just hopped up here and burped.